my only true love. Never really had to speak the way it's unworthy of. Funny how that little college school got language corrupt. Funny how the other private schools with no hyper club. Someone took a trip before he came to ski in the Alps. Father moved across the country just to sunburn his scalp. Country, won't contradict what I say. Living like a French connection, but would die in L.A. That's from a disconnected light switch. Through the condo that they never finish. Bounce across the satellite dish. Through your brain to California English.
I grew up hearing, Peter Tosh around the house, and it never felt like totally distinct from everything else. It never felt like this is the music of where I come from. We listen to rock and roll and we listen to this. I remember, when I was a freshman in high school is when in America they reissued the Os Mutantes album. And I was still relatively young, and I think I probably read about it in Rolling Stone or something, and I bought it, and to me it just made sense. It was like, okay, this is music from Brazil. It sounds a little Brazilian, also kind of sounds like the Beatles, and it always just seemed like music was a big continuum. So, there wasn't like some moment where all of a sudden my listening went from the first world to the third world. So many languages, French, Spanish, Italian, German, English. Even in English we have lots of words with contra, contradiction, contraband. So it's this very basic idea of against, and rather than trying to say that we're against, something specific, it's more about that very idea that you can divide things into two categories and that everything's in opposition to each other, because ultimately that's not a very good way of understanding the world. If the choice is between being somebody who listens to non-Western music and who cares about it, but still is not working as an activist, versus being somebody who's not an activist and doesn't listen to non-Western music, then you just get trapped in this kind of like first world cycle of, privileged guilt. And I do have guilt about that. Now I'm doing something that I love, but ultimately is, it's first world art. So I think it's important that we feel guilty and we figure out how we're going to lead meaningful lives that help others and take into account how fucked up the world is. But that it has almost nothing to do with the music. And if you can, I think it's 100% possible that somebody who lives in a first world country can listen to music from another country and appreciate it on purely musical terms without feeling guilty.
Occident, out on the weekend. Oh, that's the way that we relax. English breakfast tastes like Darjeeling, but she's too cute to even ask. Blake's got a new face. Blake's got a new face. Blake's got a new face. Blake's got a new face.
I think the struggle of growing up middle class in America is figuring out how to lead an ethical life. Like a lot of us, we don't have to look back very far to find the people who, in our families, who came to New York City, escaping poverty or racism, wherever they came from. Like, that's relatively fresh in our minds, but we do know that we grew up with privilege. So I think the struggle is taking all of that history into account and figuring out how you can lead a moral, ethical life. That, I think, will probably be one of the main struggles of my life, and I hope I can pursue it in a positive direction.
Me and my cousins and you and your cousins.